Whoa! This is worthless.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
Hello, my fellow riders of Stories 3. Today then, I want to go over how to efficiently, quickly, and easily farm good genes, in both the genes themselves that are sought after, and most importantly, the quality of them, so large and extra large. It can be a little bit tricky to get hold of these if you are just kind of randomly looking for them. And indeed, method 1 is kind of randomly look for them. Obviously, the most important factor when it comes to the genes that are going to be on your Monstie, or at least the quality of them, is the shine on the egg when you pick it up. You've got normal with no shine, you've got a bit more potent with the golden shine, and then you have the sort of pearlescent platinum shine of highly potent. These are what matters, and only what matters, when it comes to farming large and extra large genes to use in your Monstie builds. Now, if we have a look at a little bit of an experiment I did, a Lagiacrus released into Azuria at my stage of the game is in its level 30s. If we then compared that to a Lagiacrus released at a much later area of the game, it's level 50. Which is significantly higher. But if we then retreat both, and from both the level 50 and the level 30 Lagiacrus, go into its retreat den, grab a normal egg and a golden shine egg, and then we hatch them, well, first up is the level 50 retreat. The golden egg gives us large quality genes, very, very nice, and you can a lot of the time think of gold shine to gold border large genes, and then the pearlescent platinum, highly potent shine to that same color border, XL genes. In any case, I digress. The level 50 Lagiacrus with golden shine, large genes. The normal one, nothing of note. We then go to the Azuria low level Lagiacrus, the golden shine. Oh, we have large genes once again, but then the normal one, there's nothing of note. So, just to really stress that what matters most is getting those highly potent eggs, not so much where and when you actually release the monster and acquire it. That said, as you progress through the game, you will reach sort of soft, invisible checkpoints that kind of let you start getting the next tier of genes. You're not going to get a large quality gene off a Lagiacrus that you release at the very start of the game when Azuria is all you have. Once you get towards endgame, large genes will start appearing, and then eventually extra large genes will start appearing. So until you are deeper into chapter 4 and you see your first extra large gene, don't start trying to force it, because it's going to be very unlikely to happen. So it is worth keeping that in mind. You can essentially look at it like there's 4 main chapters, small, medium, large, and extra large genes tied to each one for a kind of bar of when to maybe forcibly farm what you're after at the highest quality you can actually get it. Well, size, not quality. There are other factors that go into it, but that's just kind of a simple guide. If you were somehow to teleport to chapter 4, but you're only overall level 5, you're not going to start having extra large genes rained on you. In any case, then, as I said, now that we've got that sorted, method 1 is just sort of randomly find them. And to randomly find them, you need to walk into a den and hope that the egg that you pull out is that highly potent platinum shine. But obviously, that's very, very rare. So the best way to promote finding them is to forcibly spawn as many super rare dens as you can, as they will give you that highly potent shine. Rare dens that are golden are better, but they're still going to give you majoritarily golden shine eggs and still very rare on that platinum shine. We want the ultra rare dens. That said, we have an entire video already up on dedicated to making these appear and farming them as quickly as possible. Today, I want to share the method to just force XL genes, if you have them available, to happen en masse without relying on RNG or luck and just making it happen yourself. So the way to do that is habitat restoration. You may have noticed then, as you're pumping out monsties into their environments, raising their rank to S, elements changing them depending on where you put them, that when you go out and then try and farm the monstie that you have element changed and made rank S in an environment, every time you grab that Monstie, it is a platinum shine, highly potent egg. Not literally every time, sometimes you get a golden one, but most of the time when you finally get that Monstie to S rank, you go out into random dens, you finally find that Monstie in its new elemental conversion, you get that shine on it, because S rank Monsties are more inclined to be that highly potent shine. And that's kind of the key here. So the basic method is thus: head into your Rite of Channeling and choose what gene you're actually after. You can look at the entire list, and if you hit L3, you can see everything you have technically available, even if you literally can't do it right now. For example, this rock shooter here, I do have a Tigrex, and I therefore could do the gene, but the gene isn't unlocked on the Tigrex, so I'd either have to level it up or use a catalyst key, and then I could transfer it. What you won't see on this list is just every gene. If you don't have the monster as part of your Monsterpedia, then you're not going to see the gene here. However, you can see genes of monsters that you know about even if you don't have a Monstie version. For example, if I head over to Thunder here, I can see Thunder Breath and Bolt Eater. These come from a Kezu in the Frozen Grotto in Canalta Timberlands. However, if we look at my Frozen Grotto, that's still a question mark. It is a Kezu, I know that it is, I've been there, I've seen them, it's in my Monsterpedia, but I've not actually hatched a Kezu, so it's technically still a question mark. But I still know about its genes because I know about Kezu. So you want to then fill out as many monsters as you can in your Monsterpedia. If a monster is here, then you can see the genes that it brings to the table on the list, which means it's very much worth getting your extra versions unlocked. For example, Yan Garuga, and then we'd have this, which is its Deviant. It's worth actually getting the Deviant unlocked so that you know about it and have one, and therefore its genes are in the pool on the gene list, and that applies across the game. So if you're not seeing something you're after, it's probably belonging to still a question mark in your Monsterpedia. So with that in mind, back to the gene list, find the gene that you want to have a good version of. So let's use Stamina Surge as an example, as it's a really great gene. Increased stamina regen on your Monstie lets them spam out their various skills more often, which is just always good. Fitting this in is just a really nice solid it can be there. And if we then hit that square and have a look where it comes from, well, we can see Zinogre, Thunderlord, and Ray Dao are carriers of this gene. It doesn't mean they'll have it all the time, but it means they can have it. And that's what you kinda want to do. Obviously, attacks are going to be tied to specifically the monsters that do them, but the generic genes that you just might want for a build are going to be on a lot of monsters. So if we wanted Elemental Breaker, which is actually really useful in a lot of situations in this game, and the damage increase is quite high if you do Element Match, well, once again, there is a lot of options, and the Geocrus, which I've already cultivated, would be one of them. But to go back to Stamina Surge then, this is kind of the method. So Zinogre is someone who can carry Stamina Surge. Cool, you've got that in your head. And ideally, you do want to choose the monster you have access to that is the highest star rank. That seems to tend the genes towards higher size quality versions. And you can see that on your stats page, that Monstie Rank. The higher that star is, the better chance of high size good genes that tends to be. This is a little bit more feely crafty, but it does seem to be pointing in that direction, so where possible, choose to cultivate the monster you have that has the gene that is also the highest Monstie rank. So I'm wanting to farm Stamina Surge, and I'm choosing Zinogre to do it, and we do have guides up on how to unlock every endangered monster and all of the deviants, etc., so you can check those out. So therefore, I will choose a location. Where it is doesn't matter, as I'm just wanting to farm the monster, not caring about a particular element, but for argument's sake, I've gone with Colossal Dragon's Remains. I have released Zinogre enough times, 5, for it to reach S rank in Colossal Dragon's Remains. So whichever monster you've chosen that has the gene you want at large or extra large, release it enough times into a given habitat of your choice. Just choose one, it doesn't matter, it's purely for farming, until it is S rank. Once you have achieved S rank, you then want to head out into that habitat of choice until you actually bump into the monster that you've released. So in this case, I'm looking for a Zinogre, and there we have one ahead of us. So once you have found it, you want to get into battle against it. Now, you can either do a preemptive strike, which isn't bad because you do get the full free turn, but as a little bit of a bonus tip, it's oftentimes much more effective to actually start the battle by doing the attack, because then you get a huge chunk of health off it. This lowers the amount of turns it will take you to defeat it, which in turn will give you a better rank, which will give you a higher chance for a retreat, which is what we're after here. So now you want to, well, do what you do best and beat the monster into submission. Once the monster gets low enough, then you want to hit it with a paintball or a mega paintball. Ideally a mega paintball, as that will give you the highest retreat rate that you can get. Once you have hit it with the paintball, and you do want to make sure that it's when it's on low health, just so you definitely get it in there, then you finish it off. And, you know, ideally you do it with the best kinship in the game, which is, as we all know, Bracky Blow. It's just... oh, it's so good. In any case, when you do finish it then, as long as you've done it in a good amount of turns, you finished in a particular way, like a kinship finish, so you get lots of points, you will get that S rank, and the Zinogre in my case, but the Monstie that you've chosen to farm will retreat. This is very important, because when you are farming for this specific Monstie, if you just kind of generically go in dens, well, you are running up against two big levels of RNG. First, finding the S-rank Monstie that you've cultivated in the habitat as an egg. Second, finding one that has that highly potent platinum shine. Whereas if you retreat and then follow, not only will you get 2 nests, so you can get 2 eggs, they are all guaranteed to be the Monstie that you want, the one that you have made S-rank in this environment, which means you don't actually need to worry about one of those layers of RNG, which is pulling the correct egg. You only need to worry about the RNG of pulling that highly potent platinum shine. And because it's a double nest den, you can just keep pulling and pulling and pulling eggs literally until it happens. So while it might take time, the actual RNG of getting an element is kind of a non-factor, because eventually, there we go, highly potent achieved. And the reason that that highly potent is here, despite it being a normal den, not a super rare, not even a golden one, just a retreat den, is because Zinogre in this region is S rank, because I've released 5 of them into this region. So I'd then go to the other nest, and I would repeat until I get another highly potent Zinogre egg. And you can see with how many tries it takes why this technique is so useful, because waiting for this to line up randomly in just generic dens outside is like finding a needle in a haystack. The fact that it's taking me this many pulls to get that highly potent shine is crazy. So thankfully, there we go, it can only be Zinogre, so as I say, it is just a matter of time. So thank you to the knocked out sleeping parent over there. We now have 2 highly potent Zinogre eggs, which means 2 good chances at getting a sizable stamina regeneration gene. We'll then head over and give them a hatch and see if we got a little bit lucky. Of course, my Zinogres here are dragon, as it is a dragon region. If we have a look, we've got a thunder attack boost large and a thunder defense boost large, which is shame. I did miss the stamina regen, but hey, we do get ourselves another new rainbow gene, which is always good too, and this is a great method for farming those as well. And then if we look at the next one, ooh, we do have an XL here, which is a critical XL, which is actually really, really nice. That's good to see that happen, but sadly not the stamina one. So I would go back out, find another Zinogre, retreat and beat it, get 2 more highly potent eggs from the retreat nest, and then try again. And this way I can spend the least amount of time actually farming these genes before they happen, removing as many layers of RNG as possible. So to summarize, if you are wanting a large, extra large version of a specific gene, well, step 1 is get as many monsties unlocked in your Monsterpedia as possible, so you can see all the genes on the list. Choose the gene that you want. Of all the monsters that can have that gene when you look, go with the highest Monstie Rank 1 that you have access to that you can release a lot of into the wild. Choose any given random environment that you don't mind using as a farming environment, release enough of them to raise that Monstie to rank S. Now that you've done that, head out into the field, find that Monstie that you've released to rank S that has the gene available that you want, beat and retreat it, follow it to its retreat nest, and then keep picking up eggs until you get to highly potent platinum shines, leave, hatch them, and fingers crossed you get the gene. Good if you do, repeat if not. And then that's kind of it. And if you don't want to do all that, then it is just kind of pure RNG, either just walking into random dens and hoping, or at least trying to force spawn as many super rares as you can, which, as I say, we do already have a guide up for on the channel. So hopefully that all makes sense. It's a very nice way to target the genes that you want in a nice, reliable way. For now then, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.